Where were you born?
In Coleman, Alberta.
Okay. And when?
1935. I'm a coal miner's daughter.
Tell us about that. Tell us about your...
Being born in the cold. My sister is 1 year and 12 days younger than I am.
How many siblings?
My sister and I and my brother.
Okay.
And my sister and I were very, very close. I mean, we grew up together and I looked after her. And she was a preemie. She was only 3 pounds at birth. And in those days, they would put them in a little shoebox, you know, and covered them with blankets and things, and usually put them on the oven door to make sure that they were warm. And to this day, my sister still has a burnt section on her head from having, it was too warm as a baby, you know. And but I looked after her, and we got our share of mischief as well. She was a real little daredevil. She played hooky every Wednesday afternoon, and nobody ever found out until she said, "Come on, Joan, you play hooky. You had never played hooky. You need to play hooky before you graduate." And I said, "Well, I don't know. I've never done it. What do you do?" "Never mind. Come on, you play hooky." So I played hooky. What a miserable afternoon my whole life. And we had a truant officer that had a bicycle. So I feared that Mr. Brown was going to be there any minute and catch us playing. She never once was caught. So I went home my usual time, and my mother met me at the door and said, "Well," she said, "the school phone." And I thought, oh my God, first day I ever played hooky on the school phones. "I wonder how often your sisters played hooky." It was my sister that got it. I never said anything. Peggy never said anything. She took it, but Wednesday afternoon, whatever there was on that Wednesday afternoon she didn't like or whatever, she played hooky. So until she was caught. And I had perfect attendance except for that afternoon. I don't think I ever told my mother that in fact, I know I didn't. They didn't believe in babysitters in those days. If they went to a dance or something, they just locked the door and you were there. I remember once we took my dad's thermos and we found some cooked macaroni and cheese and stuffed his whole thermos full of macaroni and cheese. We were going to help Daddy for his dinner or his lunch or whatever it was. And remember once we were fascinated with the sifter for the flour, so we sifted all the floors in the house. Dad came in, hit a rug, and just like a dance floor. March the 12th in '65, we were burnt out.
Yeah. What time?
Chair Hill.
Chair Hill.
Yeah, we lost our home and everything we had ever owned in a fire.
My goodness.
And you know, whenever I saw those fires in Barrier, I cried because I knew what they were going through. It's absolutely heartbreaking, particularly your pictures and things, you know, that you can never. My mother had just knit us each, the 3 little ones, and Dad and Mom, these reindeer sweaters, you know, these large sweaters with the reindeer on the back. They still were wrapped in the tissue that we got them at Christmas, and they were in the trunk. And took 3 guys to hold me. I said, "I know where my valuables are, and I know where my papers and things are. Let me go inside." But there was no basement, so it was a stuccoed house. The result was that when I opened the back door, my girlfriend and I had taken the kids to see the same lady that wrote the book, Ardith. We decided to go to see Mary Poppins in Edmonton, which is only 60 miles away. Take the kids, and that was fine. And when I came home, I said, "My goodness, you know, there's smoke coming out from underneath my eaves of my house." I said, "Don't tell me my house is on fire." So, I mean, immediately I stumbled out of the car and ran to the back door, opened it, and just went boom. They said it was an overheated safety valve on the floor furnace. So it was, it was a very dramatic thing, you know, and it was a good thing that I had a fantastic babysitter that we were able to stay with. And being a farming community, the people were bringing bags of vegetables and live chickens and turkeys and pieces of hindquarters of beef, and which was great because I just gave it to the lady where I was staying. But the strangest thing with it was a neighbor had gotten I was sitting there with this neighbor's, and the phone rang, and it rang mine too long and a short, which was the party line number. And I thought, that's odd because there is no phone. I mean, it's gone. But you see, it was part of the party line. So immediately the lady answered her phone, and it was Arnie. He'd gone up north to go to work. And he said, how come Joan isn't at home? And she said, I think maybe you better hear what she has to say. On what we call Farmer's Day, June the 5th, Arnie said, I hear they're building roads up near Jasper. So let's say that we take a little trip. We did, June the 5th. And James was born in 62, so he was 2.5. And he was the little fellow that could not travel a mile without getting out, and he was not worthy of travel. He was a sick little boy all the time. And he never got rid of that car sickness until he drove himself.
Oh, really?
And then because I would give him Gravol and everything, but it didn't help.
So in those days, in 1965, who did you see about getting the job?
Tom Wood, that used to live here.
Yes.
I actually stopped in here in 65 and talked to Tom Wood, and he gave me the information that I would get hold of this Ida Olafson, something like that, at the school district office in McBride. And so I contacted her and I got in.
Wow.
Right away.
What made you become a teacher?
Well, when I graduated in '53, I had promised my dad, when I had visited him in Banff, that I would be a nurse. His sister was a nurse, and he had a sister that was a teacher. And so I said, I'll be a nurse, Daddy, so, I will take care of people like you. And I did go into the Royal Alec Hospital when they had nursing in '53.
That's in Edmonton?
In Edmonton. Mm-hmm. And I enjoyed it, but not enough when I was working on children's wards. When the little kids would come in, they'd have leukemia, and they'd be there when you were on and they were gone, and I couldn't handle it. I could not handle seeing those little kids. I can still see that little baby. He was 8 months old, and he had fallen off a dining room table, and he had 4 green stick fractures, his 2 arms and his 2 legs. And here he is in traction. It's little, they don't let the bottom touch the, and I thought, I can't handle this. My first teaching experience was in the old school that was just down here. On the hill here. Yeah, right on Main, the very old one, which I see is it's been, we were going to take it to make it our shed, but we decided that it was rotten. The walls were rotten, but I just found out why they put the windows on the north. That was all the windows were on the north side of the building, was to help the right-handed people. Oh. Yeah, because your light comes over your shoulder for the right-handed people. They didn't consider the left-handed people. And I just read an article on that. So that's why there were windows only on one side. I taught there in 1965 to 66. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the building was condemned, but we were in there anyway. And it had it had a heater in it, a heater. And then in the spring they replaced it with a propane, I think, blow heater that was above. So most of the time you were warm from here up, but your feet were frozen. And then when we were in the furnace, with the furnace or the heater, it was a little pot-bellied heater. Mm-hmm. Well, we froze. I mean, the kids and we just left our winter gear on. And I was reading these mysteries, Alfred Hitchcock mysteries. And this was about the ghost, and it was coming down the banister and the rest of it. and you could see those kids just going like that. And I used to have, in June it was so warm in that building that I used to put a bat in the door to hold it. Well, you know, the kids are so engrossed in listening to me, and the bat fell out of the door. Well, you see daylight, you know, with these kids having heart failure with the ghost coming down the batters. In fact, Jean Elaine, daughter, Sue, went home and said, "Mother, Mrs. Nordli read us these stories, you know, the hair is standing up on the back of our neck," and then she'll slap the book shut and say, "We'll find out what happens tomorrow." You know? She said, "How can she do that?" They don't know that I read the next part. I remember reading Old Yeller to my grade 5s.
Oh.
We were all crying. I mean, it was just so, the kids loved, that's how I used to get them in on time at 1:45. They knew that they would get the story, and if they were late getting in, they missed the story time.